You know that feeling after you watch a movie and you know it wasn't good, but it was so stupid that you had a good time? Today, I want to talk to you guys about the dumbest horror movies I've ever seen.
We stopped at a light and saw him walking in that field behind the Lost River Diving. Julie said he was so creepy.
Hey, what's up everybody? It's Nick here, and today we are talking dumb horror movies. Now, you probably are immediately thinking, what does that mean exactly? What are the parameters for this list you're putting together? Well, it's actually pretty simple. There are a lot of movies that I've seen throughout my life, not just horror movies, that I have looked at and gone, that was incredibly stupid, but I didn't hate it. And admittedly, they're all pretty bad movies. Sometimes the plot itself is stupid, sometimes the concept from the very beginning is stupid, and sometimes everything that takes place in the movie is stupid. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of dumb. I cannot stress enough that I do not hate these movies, and I will watch all of these movies again in my life. And that might be a form of torture to others, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a glutton for punishment. Now, I've only got 8 here for this list because I've got a lot to say about each one. So starting this off at number 8 is going to be Maximum Overdrive. Now, if you're a lover of this movie, just understand, I'm not going to be super mean because I kind of love it too. I remember growing up and watching this movie all the time, and I'll never forget the look of these semi-trucks. There was just something about it. I mean, if you showed some of these semi-trucks to somebody, they would probably be like, what is this, a movie about murderous semi-trucks? Yeah, it is. And let me tell you something. It is really, really stupid. Now, it's interesting that this is Stephen King's directorial debut. This was based off of his story Trucks, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to write and direct this thing. And after watching this movie, it's probably pretty clear why Stephen King did not have a long directing career. And if it weren't enough that these semi-trucks were murderous and that their entire goal here is fuel, we also get so many other everyday items that come alive and become murderous and attack all these people that are trapped at this diner. And let me tell you something. There's a couple people in this cast you're going to recognize, like Emilio Estevez, but nobody here is particularly good at all. And I have to imagine that that was kind of the point. Like, King knew how crazy this was, and everybody involved in the movie knew how crazy it was, so they were like, let's just ham it up. Let's have a good time. So this movie meets all of the criteria for being dumb. The characters are dumb, the performances aren't good, the plot is dumb, but damn it, I gotta be honest, it's a ton of fun. And would I watch a remake of it today? Absolutely. And will I watch this movie again in my life? Absolutely. More than once. Next up at number 7 is going to be Blumhouse's Truth or Dare. Now, this is a movie that I don't like. Like, I actually think it's a bad movie. Not so bad it's good, but it's just bad. It's also really dumb, and that's the reason why it's bad. Because first off, I just want to say, I don't think anybody in this movie is particularly bad. Like, I think all of the performances are okay. They're serviceable. But the entire concept of this film is something that we have seen done so many times, it's exhausting. I've gotten to a point where anytime a horror movie has this like cursed concept that makes you lose control of yourself or a cursed item, whatever it may be, I immediately check out. Because I've seen it all done before, and most of the time it's not very good. So the movie automatically loses points for being a recycled dumb idea. But then the execution, oh boy, is it dumb. Look, you're trying to sell me a horror movie, okay? You're trying to scare me. You're trying to make me feel unsettled, creep me out, right? That's what horror does. So why on earth is the big scare moment in this movie, every time somebody is under the control of this thing, they have a derp face? I don't know how else to explain it. It's just a derp face. I'm just like, oh, okay. So, like, we're doing this. Like, I'm just laughing. And that's what I did. I sat in the theater and I laughed. And of course, as the movie goes on, it plays out just like any one of these movies do. You know exactly what's coming, you're not surprised by anything, and by the time it wraps up, you're like, why did I just waste 90 minutes on that movie? But oh my God, could you at least have tried to be scary? They don't even try. It's just imagery for imagery's sake, and it's honestly laughable. The movie's just dumb. I don't know what else to say. Don't waste your time on it. It is PG-13 Blumhouse to a frickin' T. Next at number 6, we get a nice palate cleanser. Is this a good movie? No. Do I watch it every year? Yes. And that is Thankskilling. Now, I've talked about Thankskilling before in a previous list, so you guys probably are not surprised to see me mention it again. But how could I make a dumbest horror movies list and not have this one on here? Because this movie is stupid. And a lot of you who haven't seen this movie probably don't even feel the need to ask why it's so dumb. Because all you had to do was look it up, see the poster, and go, oh man, yeah, that's pretty dumb. The name in and of itself tells you this is going to be a bad movie. And it is bad, okay? A murderous turkey. What are we doing here? Now, it doesn't take itself seriously. I gotta give it credit for that. But like, we've got a murderous hand puppet turkey. That's all that needs to be said. That tells you, oh, this movie's probably super dumb. But you know what? I like it. Why? Well, one, because we don't get a lot of Thanksgiving horror films. It is a holiday that is super underrepresented, and I'm honestly quite sick of it. And two, it knows how absurd it is, and it just has fun. This movie's not trying to scare you. It's trying to make you laugh. This movie's not trying to make you think. If anything, it's trying to make you lose brain cells. There's gore. There's TNA. Like, I mean, what's not to like? Sure, if you were writing a thesis in film school about some of the greatest movies you've ever seen, Thankskilling should never come anywhere near your list. But if you wanted to watch a stupid movie that's going to not hurt your brain at all, Thankskilling should be at the top of your list. Next up at number 5 is going to be Hellraiser Hellworld. And this is another movie that is so dumb, but I dig it. Why is Hellraiser Hellworld so dumb? Well, because Hellraiser was never a slasher franchise. That was not the point. I would argue Hellraiser was elevated horror before elevated horror was really in vogue. And Hellraiser Hellworld goes, what if we made Pinhead and the Cenobites basically just slashers? Now, is it a total bastardization of the property? Absolutely. Is it kind of enjoyable to see a what-if scenario play out like that in the Hellraiser universe? Yeah, it's kind of fun. You gotta remember, we were at a point where we had Inferno and Hellseeker and Deader back to back to back. Okay, I didn't want to see another repurposed script that just threw Pinhead in there at the last minute on my screen again. At least this movie was centered around being a Hellraiser film. Not the Hellraiser I knew and loved, but Hellraiser nonetheless. The other reason why this movie is incredibly stupid, and I mean really stupid, is because it is revealed to us at the end that nearly everything our cast of characters saw throughout this night was a hallucination, all led by Lance Henriksen himself. That's right, Lance Henriksen was in this movie. You shouldn't be surprised because he was in Mangler too, okay? But he was feeding them information through cell phones while they were buried alive, and they were envisioning everything that we saw happen. When you think about the practicality of that, it makes no sense. You can't even think of a scenario. Okay, what was Lance Henriksen saying to the, Henry Cavill's character when, that was going on? You know what I'm talking about. Can you imagine Lance Henriksen narrating that? That's wrong. I don't want to imagine that. And then, the coup de grace is the final line that Doug Bradley got on screen as Pinhead is a one-liner that was written for Freddy and Freddy's Dead, basically. Not line for line, but it would fit perfectly in that movie. Just, what a way to go out. What a way for Doug to go out in absolutely stupefying fashion. So again, is Hellworld good? No way. It's super stupid. It's really fun. Next up at number 4 is going to be Texas Chainsaw 3D. Oh yeah, baby. We're doing this thing, cuz. Look, I know there's a lot of fans of this movie. And I'm not even a hater of this movie. I will go as far as to say I have a good time. I saw this movie opening night in theaters, and ever since, I've had a really good time with it. But I've also got to be honest. It's super freaking dumb. Down to every last detail. First off, they try to tell us that Heather, played by Alexandra Daddario, is a descendant of the Sawyers that survived the burnt down house and shootout at the beginning of this film, which was right after the original film. But if that were the case, why is she like 21 in this movie when she should be like 40? And Leatherface is aged appropriately, but she's not. Oh, and then we'll have older cars and older style of clothing, like 2000 style of clothing, so it doesn't really stand out. But people have iPhones. And we have a cop using an iPhone as he's clearing a building. I mean, it's on FaceTime, no less. It's so stupid. Makes no sense. And then the dialogue. Oh my God, the dialogue. Look, have fun with this movie. I do, but let's be real. These are some of the worst lines ever written for a horror movie. And there's multiple. Do your thing, cuz. Welcome to Texas. You're not even from Texas. He is. I mean, the characters are all stupid as hell. There's some horrible CGI death scenes, and I mean like PlayStation 1 level shit. Like, they are awful. This movie's just dumb. From top to bottom. It's stupid. Now in third place is Leprechaun 4 in Space. And you're noticing a common theme here. All of these movies I have a really good time with, but I also have to admit they're super stupid. And Leprechaun 4 is another one of those. Look, the Leprechaun franchise was already just ridiculous. We have a murderous leprechaun that's after his pot of gold. Like, come on, bro. The last movie, we were in Vegas, okay? But it worked. It felt like it wasn't too far out of the realm of possibility for the series. Leprechaun 4 was like, let's just put the bastard in space. And that's already wild, even for Leprechaun standards. But what they do from that point forward, I mean, we've got the Leprechaun coming out of a dude's wiener. Like, I don't know how else to put it. That's just what happens. We've got the Leprechaun with a lightsaber. We get a sequence that's supposed to be a giant leprechaun, but it is so clearly a mixture of a miniature set and just shooting upward at Warwick Davis. And I mean, it's really bad. Leading up to the culmination of the film, where our leprechaun, who's supposed to be giant, is sucked out of the airlock. Like, we're just throwing it back to Alien. And I gotta be honest with you. It's not good. It's really dumb. Even for the leprechaun. But it is super fun. I mean, there's good stuff about this movie too. There's some really good practical makeup effects. And it is pretty funny. But man, it's really stupid. Coming in second place is going to be Piranha 3DD. Alright, so you guys know I love Piranha 3D. And I don't think that's even a hot take. Most people have fun with that movie. They announced a sequel and I'm like, alright. I watched the trailer and I was like, what are we doing here? Piranha 3DD says, hey, what if we did the 3D thing again? What if we did the prehistoric piranha thing again? And then we just put it in a water park? Yeah, let's do that. I mean, it makes no sense. I don't even know how you square making this film with this plot. It genuinely does not add up. You have David Hasselhoff as a lifeguard, because why not, right? You have the title being a 3D film and a sequel. What if we just put another D on there and put like boobs as the poster? And you know what? It kind of works. I don't know what else to say. It actually kind of works. Look, super dumb. Makes no logical sense. Everything that you loved about the first movie is turned up to like 15 in this one. The characters are even dumber. The plot, even dumber. But the gore is aplenty, and the D's are doubled. And like, I'm sorry? You can call me a simple man. I'll never claim to be anything other, quite frankly. That's enough for me. Like, I had a really, really good time with this movie. Now, I gotta admit, they're very different films. Piranha 3D, I think, is actually a good film. Piranha 3DD is a terrible film. But I don't know if there's ever been a movie that deserves the moniker of so bad it's good more than Piranha 3DD. And finally, at number 1, the absolute dumbest horror movie I've ever seen is Troll 2. Oh yeah, I saw Troll 2 for the first time last year. And it was an experience. Now, I know the backstory on this movie, okay? I know it's not actually a sequel to Troll. And it was called Troll 2 basically to what? Try to make money. And they felt like that would be the best way to do it. Just mislead people into thinking it's a sequel to a movie that some had already seen. And then when you watch this movie, and I've never seen Troll, by the way, so I can't even speak to it, but you could just look up images of both films and you would not confuse them for each other at all. There's no way you would go, oh yeah, that's a sequel to this. I gotta be honest with you guys. I could sit here and give you a dissertation on this movie. I didn't understand it. Any of it. The plot is nonsensical. There's a bunch of it's really just an amalgamation of weird scenes that make no sense. That's basically Troll 2. And I mean, I'll give them credit. There are moments I'm not likely to ever forget. There's specifically a sequence in an RV or a camper with popcorn just popping over and over and over again and filling the place up. And like, I couldn't help but somewhat enjoy it, even though I was like, why is this here? What sense does this make at all? There's some weird, like, witch lady that I'm pretty sure, like, goes through a wall at one point. I don't know. Like, I don't know what I saw. There's these little people that are, like, goblins. There's weird stuff to do with plants and, like, green ooze. Nilbog milk. Like, guys, I mean, I can't even make sense of it. I watched it. It happened. And I don't know. I mean, how can I make a dumbest horror movies list and not put this at number 1? I mean, it's number 1. Now, hopefully you guys didn't lose too many brain cells watching this video. And I especially hope that if you seek any of these movies out, you wear protective gear, because it's gonna hurt. But what do you guys think of this list? Do you agree with these dumb movies? Did I miss some, or do you completely disagree? Whatever your thoughts, sound off down below and let me know. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, ask you to please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm pulling out.